I wish I could be a pig.
Hang on. No, because you say this, but I have memories of us both walking around the volume like pigs. There's probably a lot of behind the scenes footage that would really embarrass me and Kaja.
Yeah. Through that, let's be friends, let's be silly. And in that way, he invites everyone to be honest, playful, free, silly. We'll be halfway through a scene. If something goes wrong, he'll go and tackle his friend to the floor.
I took inspiration for this story from when me and my sister were younger.
Look at all of this. It's amazing. I base the story around my dad. All I can do is write this silly story. Oh, we'll face it together. We got this. Yeah.
I wondered if we could start with a little bit of background on you both. Had you met before this? Had you both worked in gaming much before this?
Well, we hadn't met before this, but what was funny is that a lot of the creatives behind it thought that we had, and we got asked that. Do you remember, Kaja?
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was in the middle of our chemistry reading. And I think they were like, so have you guys met before? Because we'd messed up and we'd both like fallen about laughing about it. And we're like being like, oh my God, that's ridiculous that we've done that. And then they were like, do you know each other? And we were like, no.
No. There was just no politeness from day one.
No, we were straight in. The relationship that is there now was there from day one. Yeah. But in terms of mocap experience, I'd had some experience with things like Star Citizen and a couple of other bits. But they were definitely shorter jobs, and this one was a lot longer. And so it was really lovely to like settle into it and get to know everyone and yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, this was my first motion capture experience. So the standard for my experience was set very high from the beginning. Yeah, that I've not met Elsie before, but it did definitely feel like we'd known each other in some weird way.
Like annoying siblings.
Yeah, rated me from day one. No, it was really lovely. Yeah. It was my first motion capture experience.
What was that kind of process like of hearing about the game, kind of auditioning for the game and then getting it?
I didn't know much about the game before. I only was given character descriptions, and I wasn't even given Zoe's character description. So the audition experience was really also learning about what it is that we're up against when it comes to this partnership, this friends and enemies within one. And I think that the recalls and the chemistry reads were just about Hazelight playing with this dynamic between where can we find the drama, the tension, the competition, the friction, but also the love and the friendship between these two characters. And that was really, we were workshopping that. But we didn't learn anything about the actual scale of the game until we were in Sweden at a round table discussing it.
So when you get to that round table, I mean, how many other people are there? And what did you kind of talk through the whole game?
We were given, there weren't too many people there actually for that first one. I think Josef was there, and then Seba, the writer, one of the writers, and then a couple of other people. And it was like a PowerPoint, wasn't it? It just like came up, and there were chapters, and it sort of gave a brief overview of, in fact, it gave a brief overview of characters. And I remember every time something got like shown, I was like, oh, that's like me. Oh, that's like me. It was like Country Girl. And I was like, that's like me. Loves animals. That's like me. And it kept going. And then you said with yours, it did the same thing, didn't it?
It was so odd. It was like, Joseph, do you have my therapist's number? Feels like an invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
Same, she's a city girl. She has this, she has that. This is her passion. That's her passion. This is what she's writing about. It was fascinating. Yeah,
it was really cool. And then we sort of got an overview of the game as opposed to any details, because I think they were still developing everything. So it was very much an outline. But even just the outline we could tell was crazy. I mean, you had the different chapters and like subconscious at the end. And I remember at the time when they said subconscious, I was like, okay, and kind of had no idea of the scope of what that was going to be. I was like, oh, okay, that's like, the ending. Whereas actually once you've played the game, you're like, oh, the ending.
Then after that, do you then kind of get a full script, and do you have to kind of memorize the whole thing, or is it kind of happening, is stuff happening like on the day when you're filming it? How does it kind of work?
I think we were sent a script for every burst of production and shooting that we had. So if we had a week of motion capture, we'd be sent the scripts for that whole week. But we were definitely also workshopping those scenes as we went. Every scene was up to negotiation, interpretation, play, experimentation. So the game was being made live, really. Nothing was really pre-planned years in advance in terms of the actual writing and the dialogue.
We had some great voiceover sessions. So we did some voiceover sessions in Sweden, in Stockholm, and obviously they were always recording our vocals as we did the mocap, but they'd always need a pickup, and rather than fly us all the way over to Stockholm again, we'd often use some studios in London, and they were great because we'd turn up and it'd be like, it was long for voiceover. I think one day we did an 8-hour session because both of us were busy.
2 or 3 8-hour sessions.
Yeah, and so it was like, let's just cram as much in, which vocally, especially for this game, a lot of the time you're running and all of this. And so by the end of it, we'd come out, and any other job, I swear, I'd come out and be a bit like, God, 8 hours on my voice. Oh God, that was hard. Whereas I'd always come out buzzing because it was fun. It was always really fun. And I hold those memories quite dear because they were something really special. I think every time we'd turn up and just do the voiceovers for hours.
Yeah, most of the time voiceover work is quite lonely. You're in a booth alone, talking to a screen. But this was constantly play. We were playing, we were answering, we were laughing, we were taking the piss. It was a joyful experience.
And actually, what's really weird is a couple of times that we had to do mocap on our own without each other, we were really thrown by it because we'd gotten so used to being together and it to be like, I'm on the right, you're on the left, and all of this. And then suddenly it was like, if you're on your own, you're like, ew.
Yeah,
no.
It's almost like all of Mio's characteristics and Zoe's characteristics are really defined by their contrast to the other. If there is no Zoe to be eagerly trying to break down the wall that Mio has, then there is no need for Mio to fight for that wall and become defensive and spiky. And likewise, if there's no Mio being defensive and spiky and antagonizing towards Zoe, then Zoe has no need to try and shine through that and bring warmth and light into that darkness. And I think I really do feel like inherently the two characters were just the synergy was so brilliant from the beginning, and I'm not surprised that whenever we were without each other, it was almost like there was no character anymore.
It was weird.
Game, yeah.
Just thinking of some of the stranger things in the game, I'm trying to imagine how you would act out, transforming into a pig and then into a sausage and stuff like that. Talk me through, was there any memorable moments along the mocap experience?
I wish that we could take all the credit for transforming pigs and sausages and teeth, dragons and otter and gorillas, but it was really down to the animators and the team of Hazelight. They would mock up these images and these, I wouldn't know the technical term, that our motion and data points from our motion would then translate onto those beings. I wish I could be a pig.
Hang on. No, because you say this, but I have memories of us both walking around the volume like pigs because we saw the mock-up, which we didn't actually have to walk like pigs, but we still chose to walk like pigs.
Right, but Joseph specifically was like, can you not do the pig walking? It's messing with the actual pig. Let the pig be the pig. Can you just do the scene? And we were there like, no, Joseph, we don't know what you're talking about.
We're not walking like pigs. You're walking like a pig. Oh yeah, that was it. We were doing sassy pigs, weren't we?
Yeah, we were doing sassy pigs.
Yeah. A lot of there's probably a lot of behind the scenes footage that would really embarrass me and Kaja.
Yeah. I was determined to audition for the tooth. I really wanted to be able to motion.
Yeah.
And it became my mission and my campaign throughout the shoot because we knew the tooth level was coming to show Joseph my best tooth impressions. And I showed a canine, I showed the molar, I had the whole shebang. But no, in the end, they decided to leave that to the...
We did do the tiny bit. We did a tiny bit of tooth acting.
But I didn't get to do the tooth acting. I had to just walk up.
Would you like to stand up and do a little bit of tooth acting now? I feel like this is an exclusive here, and any future games out there that need a tooth, here is Kaja Chan.
Hi, this was my molar.
And what about a sad molar?
A sad molar?
Yeah, put some emotion in it. I mean, look at that.
So sad.
Look at that. I was working with a genius. What is that? A canine?
Fine.
Okay.
You
How
know,
pointy are your canine? Oh, that's the root.
the canine. No, it's the pointy part of the canine.
Wow, you're a very long tooth.
Don't discriminate.
Okay, right now Rob's thinking I've not got along with them, and these two idiots are
No,
doing
this is
tooth
great,
impressions.
This is great. No, just let's keep rolling on the tooth impression.
You need to rein us in, okay? That's what he like got very good at doing, reining us in.
Amazing. What was it like working with Joseph? He's kind of like a legendary figure in the games industry. What was it like working with him?
I mean, how do you describe Joseph? He's a huge ball of energy. No, I mean, he's rarely in a bad mood. I don't think I ever saw him in a bad mood. I saw him frustrated, but even that is still a big ball of energy, and he's still finding the positive. And like, one thing I love is positivity. I hate negativity, and Joseph is not negative in any way, shape, or form. His confidence. I remember sitting and talking with him one day, and he was like, I just always knew that I would make good games. I always knew I would make good movies. I always knew I would be successful. I knew I would be able to do it. And I remember just thinking, like, God, as actors, and certainly it being English, you're taught to sort of be a bit like, prepare for the worst, hope for the best, or, like, oh, okay, like, I hope I get it, but, I don't want to seem like big-headed or anything like that. But actually, it was a real breath of fresh air, and he taught me a lesson in how to go forward in life, like not just with work, but personally as well. Like why be embarrassed to feel really, really confident in what you're doing if you do believe that you are the best at it? And I think he's a really inspiring person. He's also hilarious.
He is.
I'll pass that over.
He is hilarious. So Elsie gets to talk about how wonderful he is, and I get to tear the image apart. I mean,
I set it up, and you can knock it out.
Joseph lacks professionalism, but in the best way. In the best way, he absolutely tears down the wall of formality. Is like, screw that. Let's be friends. Let's be silly. And in that way, he invites everyone to be honest, playful, free, silly. We'll be halfway through a scene. If something goes wrong, he'll go and tackle his friend to the floor, be like, why did you
oh my God,
fired?
Yes, that's so true. The way that team work is insane. And obviously he's their leader, and he sets the tone, and it's so clever, isn't it? Because it's so playful and fun, but they get their work done. Like, I mean, it's a lesson for all our boring offices over here that it's like, come in, do your 9 to 5, have no fun, have lunch at your desk, and everyone goes home really unfulfilled. Whereas, these guys are treated amazingly, and they have the best time. And as a result, we had the best time as well.
Yeah, despite the tackling to the ground occasionally,
we
very well. We'd like to go.
And we should clarify, he never tackled us to the ground.
No, he never tackled us to the ground. No, never. He was a gentleman. He is a gentleman. But I think Joseph is a case study of whether you believe or not in manifestation, confidence, and his like really blind, unwavering faith in himself and in his vision is something that instills everyone around him with confidence in that vision, in that direction. And as a result, you have a brilliant game that's ambitious and spans across several levels, dimensions, and genres. And that's because of one person whose vision is clear and who invites everyone to equally attack this goal. And I am not surprised at all that he is producing success after success after success.
But also, one other thing to just drop in here is that he always trips over his own slippers in the studio, so he's not that cool.
What has it been like for you both since the game has come out? Have you had any like fan reactions that have particularly pleased you?
It's been lovely. What's been really nice is the messages that people send. It's usually once they finish the game, and they're like, oh, I've just finished the game. I played it with my significant other, or I've had a lot of my daughter, my son, my brother, or whatever. And it's amazing to hear that people are coming together and spending that time enjoying something we've made together. And because I think that's quite rare. There is a bit of a stereotype of gaming where it's like, usually they're saying it's young boys playing shoot to kill games on their own in their bedroom, and games are bad. That was kind of a narrative for a while. And actually, it's so not the case. Like, it's, you know, you could sit and watch a series back to back for 10 hours now, and that could be quite lonely, but generally people tend to watch it together. Gaming takes it to another level because you're having to solve these puzzles together, and you're having to make the time to get together to play the next bit or whatever. So I think it's been incredible to see that positivity and that love that people have for it. And it's just really flattering that they are getting in touch with me and Kaja and sharing that with us.
Yeah, on a regular basis. I think every day I'm receiving new messages and emails and of just about how much the game has touched them and enlightened them on some of their own experiences. And of course, this is always the goal and the mission of actors and creatives and storytellers. But I think I had underestimated just how much that would that people would be impacted by the stories in the game. I think I always assumed that the gameplay and the interactive experience of that and the challenges would be, you know, what people take away. But every single day there are people who find themselves crying, laughing, overjoyed, moved by Mio and Zoe's experiences, and that has been something really that's blown me away.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how did you guys feel with the announcement that the movie rights have already been picked up? I imagine that would cause some emotional reaction there.
I'm not surprised at all. Yeah.
I mean, from the get-go, we were like, this would be an incredible movie, because that, like, everyone's seen the narrative, you know, the levels, the things that could be created, be amazing. We were saying who would play who, because I mean, we're not going to get to play it. As much as we would love to channel Joseph and say we're going to be the stars of that, I mean, there are some very A-level celebrities that would easily flick us out of the picture. But I think we were trying to guess who would play who, weren't we?
I mean, for me, Zendaya can play Mio. Zendaya.
You have her blessing, Zendaya.
Yeah, you have my blessing to play Mio, just so you're aware.
Because she would turn it down if you hadn't just given the rights.
Yeah. Big time.
And you know, and if Zendaya says no, then maybe they can ask me. Okay.
Elsie, who would you cast as yourself?
I have no idea.
He has no idea because Elsie is so undeniably unique. Like no one would be able to. No one.
It is my face, after all. It is my face.
No one would
I don't know. I mean, I love Emily Blunt, but I don't know. Is she too old now? I love you, Emily Blunt. If you know, she feels. I don't know, but I don't know. It's a hard one. Danny DeVito. Let's go there.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to see that version.
Very similar.
Yeah.
What a film that would be, Zendaya and Danny DeVito.
And Danny
together.
DeVito.
Yeah.
And this is why we're not in casting.